Hey guys, good evening. It is John C. Morley here, serial entrepreneur. You see my hat and you see believemeachieve.com, which is where you can find lots of great information, including replays of all of my casts, not just inspirations for your life, Jay Moore Tech Talk, and so many other forms of content, short form, long form, reels, etc. So definitely check that out after the show. It's available 24 hours a day. And if you miss something, there's lots of nuggets here. So definitely go back. So welcome everyone. Maybe take this opportunity to go get yourself some water. I got my RO water here. Really enjoying it. Maybe get something delicious from the kitchen. Something hot, something cold. Could be something sweet. Maybe something like a piece of fruit. Whatever it is, go grab that and come on back. And ladies and gentlemen, I just want to let you guys know that the master topic for the week is prepare for transformation. We have to prepare. If we never prepare, then transformation's going to happen, then we might miss it, right? So welcome everyone. If I didn't say welcome to you, well, welcome. Welcome to the Inspirations for Your Life podcast, where I'm going to explore the tools, strategies, and mindset shifts you need to lead a more fulfilling and empowered life. I am your host, in case you didn't know. I'm John C. Morley, serial entrepreneur, a podcast coach, and a podcast host. And I am passionately advocating for personal growth. In tonight or today's episode, depending on when you're watching it, I'm going to discuss the art of renewal and how clearing the path mentally, emotionally, and physically can unlock your potential and set you on a course for success. So let's clear the clutter, embrace change, and create space for the new life you've always envisioned. So let's start out with number one, and that is declutter your mind and your environment. So renewal begins with clarity, and clarity starts by decluttering both your mind and your surroundings, taking time to organize your space, your desk, your home, or even your digital files. A clean environment creates a calm mind. Simultaneously, focus on mental decluttering by practicing mindfulness or journaling. Let go of worries, unproductive thoughts, and mental noise. By clearing the physical and the mental clutter, you pave the way for a sharper focus. So that's a pretty cool thing, everyone. All right. So, and also renewed energy and a sense of control over your life. So that's really, really cool. Number two, ladies and gentlemen, in case you're wondering, it's reevaluate your priorities. So life changes, and so do our priorities. Renewal is the perfect time to take stock of what truly matters, reflect on your promises or your goals or your aspirations, whatever you call them, and the values you have. And are they still in alignment? Or have they shifted a little bit? Eliminate commitments that no longer serve you and redirect your energy toward pursuits that bring purpose and joy. It's about trading up to a life that resonates with your current aspirations. Reprioritizing creates space for meaningful growth and helps you focus on what truly drives your happiness. All right, so let's jump into point number three. Hopefully, this has been useful to a lot of you guys. The most important thing is to understand where we're going. So if we understand where we're going, we don't actually have to know, exactly what to do on every step, but we know what the outcome is, right? So number three is embrace the power of letting go. This is hard for a lot of people because they want to control everything. And actually, the people that learn to let go are actually more in control than people that are not in control. I think that's a pretty cool thing, right? And I think if you can understand what that means, then maybe you'll be able to recognize it when it shows up in your life. All right. So I think that's a very, very important thing. So letting go can be one of the most liberating steps on the path to renewal. Renewal is important, and releasing toxic relationships, past failures, and unhelpful habits are key. Holding on to these things only weighs us down. And instead, view letting go as an opportunity to create space for the new and exciting. It's not just about cutting ties, it's about freeing yourself to grow and to thrive. Remember, I said before, ladies and gentlemen, we can either survive in life or we can thrive. Those that survive are always tired, are always waiting for their cup to be filled. If we're thriving, our cup is already overfilling and we have plenty for ourselves and plenty to share. So, as I said to you, it's not just about cutting ties, it's about freeing yourself to grow and thrive. Embrace the idea that everything makes way for new beginnings and trust the process of transformation. Now, I know you might be saying, hey, John, but I don't want to give this up. I don't want to do this. I don't want to do that. I'm here to tell you that it's going to be okay. And so the next point is number 4, adopt growth oriented habits. Renewal isn't just a moment, it's a practice that we develop. Build good habits that support growth and well being. Start small, commit to daily activities like journaling, exercising, or dedicating time to learn something new. Over time, these habits will become the foundation for lasting change. By continuously feeding your mind, body, and soul, you create an upward spiral of progress that keeps you energized and motivated to face life's challenges head on. So, I know that when we start something new, things can be daunting. I mean, that is just natural. Remember what I said a few days ago that, when you start something new and there's some uncomfortability, I said you have to practice getting comfortable being uncomfortable. I said that before. But what I'm also saying to you is that you also have to understand that when you do this, you need to understand that when you're uncomfortable, that's a good sign that growth is starting to creep in. So allow it. All right. Create space for new beginnings. Right. Um, you can't move forward if you're holding on to too much. So creating space is about saying no to distractions and yes to opportunities that align with your purpose. Whether it's clearing your schedule or reevaluating your commitments, making room for new beginnings is vital. Allow yourself the time to reflect, recharge, and embrace what's ahead. When you consciously create space, you open doors to possibilities you may not have seen before. Number 6, be open to change and transformation. Change is the essence of renewal. It may be uncomfortable, but it's also the catalyst for growth. Embrace the unknown with an open heart and a curious mind. View every challenge as a chance to transform and every setback as an opportunity to pivot towards something better. Being adaptable allows you to see possibilities where others see obstacles. Transformation happens when you lean into change with courage and optimism. I think a lot of people get scared because they see this new world, these new behaviors, and new feelings, and new beliefs surface that people right away get stressed and they get scared. They don't know what to do. So, understanding that tonight, in case you didn't understand what tonight is, it's a pretty good topic, but I'm going to repeat it for you guys in case you missed it. It's renew and thrive. Clear the path to a fresh start. Whether it's a draw, whether it's relationships in your life, whether it's habits, things you're eating, things you're doing, things you're not doing, make way, change so that you can bring better things in. Remember, when you remove things that are actually taking up space, that'll open up a space so that the void can be filled with new good things. So that's very, very important. I mean, that's extremely important. And when you do this, ladies and gentlemen, you will get a sense over your life. Now, it's not going to happen overnight. I want to say that it's not going to happen overnight. Number 2, reevaluate your priorities. Now, what I want to say about these is I'm kind of going through them again, but I'm talking about some life stories. So maybe something was in alignment with what you wanted, but then after you sit back, you're like, wait a minute, I may have to make a sacrifice, but I'm doing that because this is what I'm going for. And sometimes people around you, could be friends, colleagues, associates, uh, they don't see what you see. And I'll tell you that that's the hardest thing when a friend of yours doesn't want to, support you. Okay. If you don't have somebody supporting you, you have to realize you have to move forward on your own. Okay. I know it can be a lonely road. I know that. Okay. But this is really key for success in life. All right. I don't mean to make a big deal about this, but it's important. Our priorities change from day to day. When I was in, let's say, grade school, grammar school, what was my priority? My priority was to basically do my homework. My priority was to get a good night's sleep. My priority, obviously, was to study and do well on the tests. My other priority was to connect with other people, right? A little bit, go to some parties. That was like the biggest thing in grammar school was to, go to these parties and being popular, go to these parties. Because a lot of these parties, like you weren't invited to, but I got invited to every party. And so I always had to be careful when somebody said, John, did you get invited to such a party? Whose party? I'm not sure. I didn't check my mailbox. I didn't go home yet. Oh, well, let me know. Okay. If I get you, did you get, I said, oh, I forgot to check. And I knew that they probably didn't get invited, so I didn't wanna make them feel bad, so I just kept telling them that I never checked. And it worked, and eventually they forgot, but then you know what happened? Somebody else said that, "Oh, yeah, Morley's invited, Tommy's invited, Crano's invited, Joseph's invited, and all these people are invited, and you're not invited? Well, we all get invitations this weekend." I didn't get one. So now you go up to the person running the party saying, "Hey, Jim, I thought we were real good friends." "Oh, we are." "Well, I heard you're having a birthday party next Friday, next week at the roller skating rink, and I never got an invitation." "Oh, yeah, I'm sure I sent you one. I'll have to double check." So what happens is they really didn't invite you. But to save face, like, "Oh, it must have got stuck in the mail. I'll bring it tomorrow. It probably got lost in the mail." And so that's what happens. And you're not being true to yourself because the reason you don't invite so many people is you're trying to keep the bill down, right? That's the one reason. And then I remember having a party and I started just inviting 10 or 12 people. And then that was like my immediate friends. And then if I was, and then after that, then it got to more people. And then after more people, then suddenly guess what happened? Well, it got to like the entire class. I remember a party that my parents actually threw for me. It was a very interesting party. So when I was in high school, there was a play that I wanted to go see, Starlight Express. I still remember to this day. It was a great play. And my parents wanted me to have an amazing experience. So they said you could either have a party, like a traditional party and invite all your friends and have a big party, or we can do something really special with maybe a select group. So I still remember to this day that I had invited, I invited one friend. I invited another friend. I invited, let's see, one, two, three, four. Yeah, about five friends. And so what my choice was, I could either do this large party or I could do something special. So they're like, well, how about you invite your friends and how about they join you to go see Starlight Express? I'm like, oh, wow, that's going to be great. And so I figure, they're just going to come and we're just going to drive to the city. No, my mom's like, well, we're going to hire a limo and, we'll follow behind, but you guys can be in the limo and then, we'll meet you at the theater where it was playing. And this was like the coolest thing because nobody had ever did this before. And we had an amazing time. And it was just, you were living life. I remember being in the limo. We weren't going to throw things at people, but I remember one of the guys had opened the moonroof and they had stood up and I'm like, get down, get down. I see you can't throw things at people. Like they were just like looking out. They weren't doing anything bad. And so, well, my party or that little private soiree was the hit of the town. On Monday morning, first of all, after I said, don't tell anyone, let's kind of keep this quiet. Oh, yeah, sure. But somehow it slipped. And before, oh, yeah, thanks. I thought I was your friend. You are, but I was just inviting the people that I have lunch with every day. These are the 4 or 5 guys that I sit and have lunch with. I mean, we're friends. We're acquaintances, right? I mean, you don't invite me over your house. Um, you say hello to me, we're nice, but we're not like best friends. We're acquaintances or friends. And then I think they started to understand that, but they still didn't like the idea that they weren't invited to this Broadway thing. So first thing we did was we went to this restaurant for, I still remember to this day, it was like burgers and fries. And then after that, there was even at the place there was even a cake. And then we went off to see Starlight Express. And when I tell you an amazing experience, it was an amazing experience that I still remember to this day. And every time I hear the Starlight Express songs, it transports me back rinkside to the ice, seeing this amazing play on ice. And it was called Starlight Express. This is one of those productions that you don't hear a lot about. Well, Starlight Express, I just want to tell you, it was in 1984. It was a musical with music by Andrew Lloyd Webber and lyrics by Richard Stilgoe. And it tells the story of a young but obsolete steam engine, similar to the little engine that could, but a little different. Rusty, who has races in a championship against modern locomotives of diesel and electric engines in the hopes of impressing a first-class observation car. Pearl, famously the actors, perform on roller skates, running for 7,049 performances that started in London. Starlight Express is the 9th longest running West End show. It is the most successful musical in Germany, where it has been performed in a purpose-built theater since 1988, holding the Guinness World Record for the most visitors to a musical in a single theater. Starlight Express has its roots in 3 abandoned projects: an animated TV series based on the Railway series, the book series that introduced Thomas the Tank, a novelty pop single, and an animated film based on Cinderella. Well, in 1974, Lloyd Webber approached author Reverend W. Awdry about adapting Awdry's Thomas the Tank Engine stories as an animated TV series. Following the meeting, Lloyd Webber started composing with actor and children TV writers Peter Reeves, contributing lyrics, and alongside artist Brian Cosgrove to animate it. But it was pretty amazing. So Starlight Express has been revised many times. It was first produced. The revisions ranged from tweaks to lyrics to adding or removing entire songs, characters, or subplots. The fundamental story, however, has stayed the same. The synopsis of it basically was that it was a young boy who falls asleep while playing with his toy trains, announcing is race night. In his dreams, the trains come to life. The reigning champion, a diesel engine from the United States of America called Greaseball, enters with his cavalcade train of several other diesel engines and 3 freight trucks. Okay. They boost up diesel supremacy, rolling stock. Next, a steam engine called Rusty enters Greaseball mocks, and Rusty, who replies that he will win the championship despite steam being obsolete compared to diesel. Call me Rusty, he says. The dreaming boy control intervenes and orders Rusty to collect the passenger train from the marshalling yard. He returns with 4 coaches that make up the passenger train: a dining car called Dina, a smoking car called Ashley, a buffet car called Buffy, and an observation car called Pearl. Control sends Rusty away to fetch a freight train. As the coaches introduce themselves to the audience, a lot of locomotion. Greaseball returns. He boosts again, this time to the coaches, pumping iron. Rusty returns with the 6 trucks that make up the freight train: 3 boxcars called Roxy 1, Roxy 2, and Roxy 3, a brick truck called Flat Top, and an aggregate hopper called Dustin, and a brake truck called CB. They introduce themselves to the audience and argue with the coaches over whether it's preferable to carry people or cargo. Pretty interesting. Control announces the rules of the championship. The trains will compete in pairs with an engine pulling a coach. There will be 3 elimination heats, and the winner of each heat will move on to the finals to decide the fastest train. The engines start to pick their coaches. Rusty offers to race with Pearl, but she rejects him, explaining that she is waiting for her dream train. He whistled at me. Electra's purse enters with an invitation from Electra. Even though Electra's not her dream train, she accepts leaving Rusty alone. The first heat pits Greaseball and Dina against Espresso. Buffy, Hashimoto, and CBCB sabotage Hashimoto by applying his brakes at critical moments in the race. Greaseball and Dina win comfortably, claiming a place in finals. After the race, Dina objects to Greaseball's cheating. In response, he abandons her, and CB basically confronts and comforts Dina. There's me. Meanwhile, a lonely Rusty has retreated to the freight yard, where the former champion, an old steam engine called Papa, sings blues songs to the trucks. The trains debate whether Rusty should be allowed to take Papa's place in the finals since he already competed, lost, or whether the area should go to Bobo, who finished second in Papa's heats. The finals take place between Electra and Dina, Greaseball and Pearl, and Rusty, CBCB, sabotages Rusty, slowing him down so he misses a switch on the track and cannot finish the race. Electra and Greaseball finish in a dead heat. Control announces that there will be another race with Electra and Greaseball going head-to-head to decide the winner. Rusty complains that he was cheated, but the marshals refuse to listen. The Rockies leave Rusty alone. He appeals again to the mythical Starlight Express for help. And this time, it hears the Starlight Express, which is portrayed by the same actor as Papa, appears in the front of Rusty. The Starlight Express reminds Rusty that he already possesses the strength he needs. If he believes in himself, inspiring him to enter the rerun of the final race, I am the Starlight. The Starlight Express disappears, and Rusty finds himself back in the freight yard with Dustin, who says he was asleep but felt the Starlight's presence. Rusty asks Dustin to race with him in the final. He accepts, and they head off together. Moments before the race, Dina, angry with how Electra treats her, disconnects from him. Electra quickly appeals to CB to take her place. The trains gather to watch what they expect will be a head-to-head final between Greaseball and Pearl, Electra and CB. To avoid being disqualified for not having a coach, Greaseball starts to grapple with Electra over CB. The fight degenerates into chaos, and Greaseball, Electra, and CB crash, allowing Rusty to win the race. But instead of celebrating, he leaves immediately to find Pearl. Control warns that Rusty will cancel his lap of honor if he does not return. That was pretty severe. And he had to return quickly. Meanwhile, humiliated and infuriated, Electra leaves the racetrack, swearing never to return. No comeback. Greaseball and CB emerge in a tangled wreck. They lament the heavy toil racing has taken on them, one rock and roll too many. Papa demands that Greaseball and CB help find Rusty away from the other engines. Pearl's fears that she caused Rusty to lose the race. She realizes that of all the trains she raced with, only Rusty acts selflessly towards her. Only he. Rusty arrives. He tells Pearl that he won the race and confesses his love for her. Only you. The other trains arrive. Greaseball finally apologizes to Dina for his behavior, and they reconcile. Greaseball complains that he has finished as a racer, but Papa offers to rebuild him into a steam train. Control tries to assert some control, announcing that Rusty's lap of honor is canceled. Tired of Control's behavior, Papa and the other engines tell Control to shut it and celebrate the second coming of steam power. So I love it when there's stories like, the engine, I think I can, that I read yesterday, and then this one about Starlight Express. When I first went to see that, I got to tell you guys, I did not understand what this meant. I mean, I knew the race, but I really didn't get the story back then. I mean, just all my friends were there, and, they were sitting, and it was funny. When we got back to school on Monday, They were all supposed to keep their mouths shut, but they were so excited to tell people about what happened that they had to tell everyone. And I was the hit and also not the hit because all these people all wanted to come, but we only had room for 5 or 6 people in one limo. We weren't going to hire multiple limos. So what I want to tell you is this whole thing, Starlight Express, when they can take a Broadway play or they can take a movie or a song, and that song can actually inspire you to become a better version of yourself, I got to tell you guys that that is so darn powerful. And I am so grateful to my parents for allowing me to go see Starlight Express, not only on my own, but having me see that with some of my friends. And, I think when we can take our emotions, right, and we can connect them to an experience that empowers us. I never knew what that whole show was about. All I knew is it was a great Broadway musical on ice, but I didn't know the whole meaning of it. I just knew that I felt good. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm John C. Morley, serial entrepreneur. I hope you guys have an amazing rest of your evening. I'll catch you guys tomorrow for the wrap up, which will be show number episode 7.